Oisches. So now that we explained the advantage from Pshitus, that the Pshitus of a Yid, the Anoshim Pshutim that the Baal Shem Tov brought close, the Koil Shofar, which is a Poshut, that is precisely which connects with the Pshitus of Atzmus Eirin Sov, Al Pizeh. So based on this, Yuvam will understand Gama Shebevu Er Bidrushe Admur Maharash, that which is explained in the Maimorim of the Rebbe Maharash, whose area is over the top to begin with, because we're going to talk about that the shofar all the ways over the top up to Atzmus. That's what it impacts. He brings Shnei Misholim al Tkiyas Shofar. He gives two parables of what shofar does. Moshul echod mishem habal shem tov zal. One example, one moshul, one parable is in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, Zichron Levracha, blessed memory. Miben melech shalach b'derech rechoika v'chulu, for a son of a king who went on a faraway road v'chulu, and he makes his way back, and he forgot everything from his father's home. He also forgot the language, so he couldn't tell anybody who he was. To the extent that he even forgot the language that they speak in his country. But he started to yell with a simple voice, a simple sound, a simple scream. He screamed out. No words. He couldn't articulate anything to tell them who he was. Moshul Shom, the Rebbe says in the parentheses, in the parable there, he says, Haloshim Bekoil Godel. Over there, the Loshin is a very loud voice. Avul Bahanimshal, but when it comes to the lesson, the Nimshal, Omer Haloshin Bekoil Poshut, over there, he uses the language, a simple voice. That's more the point we're talking about, the pshitas, the simple voice of plain tkiya, the pshitas of atzma, so it's a sound, a koil poshut. So the Rebbe says, even though in the moshul over there it says bekoil kotel, but the Rebbe is using a bekoil poshut because that's the point over here. In the nimshul is the koil poshut. That his father will recognize by recognizing his voice. Moshul Beis, and then he has a second Moshul Marava going to Chosid Morin, the Rebbe Levi Yitzchok Zalmi Barditchev. So over there, he brings a second Moshul, Beinyan Levushim, from the idea of garments. Kishamel Biyar, the king was in the forest. And then She'enom Begedrei Malchus Klal, they were not in the they were not kingdom closing of Malchus. And what happened was that the person saved the king and he showed him the way out. And after he showed him the way out, he gave him as a gift, he gave him that he can hold those garments that he was wearing at the time the king was wearing when he was in the forest. He gave it as a gift to the person, to the one who saved him, who showed him his way out of the first forest. And eventually, this person sinned against the king, and they were going to punish him severely. So he goes out and he takes out those garments that the king wore then, and that way the king recognized him through the garments, that this was the person that saved his life, and the king intervened, and they saved this person from the judgment. Was as explained over there at length, the details. And as the Rebbe said in the previous Mamer, that the moshul of garments is even less than the voice. The sound is at least the sound of the sun. Over there, it's the garments that he wore. It wasn't even a a sound. Over there it's explained at length the details, but it's surprising. The fact that we're talking about situations which are negative. And this is surprising. How do you do? Hashem Rosh Hashanah tzorich lizohir. Milahaskir inyonim v'toyerim bilti ritzuyim. That in Rosh Hashanah we need to be careful not to mention matters or descriptions which are not desirable. That's the reason. That's why in Rosh Hashanah we don't do the confessions which we would say or shamnu bagadnu, which represents undesirable matters that we're saying in Rosh Hashanah. We don't want to mention that. On Rosh Hashanah, then we have to only speak in matters which are the greatness and the praise of the Yidden. But here he explains the belong of the shofar, the Rosh Hashanah. So here he explains it with such kind of parables. Most of the details of these parables, whether it's the son that lost his way and he forgot about his father, that represents the idea of a Yid not remembering the Eberster and going off astray. That's negative. And the marshal, where the person got in trouble because he went against the king and the king wants to judge him, that's also the parable about the Yidden straying away. Why would we on Rosh Hashanah give an example or give a parable from something which is not the praise and the greatness of the Yidden? So here he's giving you a mashal which most of them seeming to be opposite of praise. And the Rebbe gives now a very interesting note about himself. The Rebbe says that when he gave over the Mamer, the two Misholim, he did not want to say the whole mashal, which would represent something negative. And I was very precise for this reason that we're not supposed to say anything negative. In the Mamer that I said on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I mentioned and I spoke only the point of the content, the Shnei Misholim Elu, of this Misholim, but specifically didn't mention any detail. I didn't want to mention the detail because in Rosh Hashanah you're not supposed to speak anything about the negativity. So the Rebbe says I specifically did not mention the details, so not to sort of say negative things about the Yidden. This is even an Erev Rosh Hashanah. Vagam Shemaimer Hanal. And even though the Rebbe says they're above Maimer, so the Rebbe says, the Rebbe says it's surprising that they should talk negative. But this Maimer that the Rebbe is quoting from the Moshul, that he brings down the Misholim from the Chila Riber, the Rebbe Marash, that Maimer is not on Rosh Hashanah itself. So what's the problem? Why is the Rebbe surprised? Why is the Rebbe asking such a question to speak about Misholim which are negative, but it's not Rosh Hashanah? So the Rebbe says, still, not even even though in the above Maimer, in which explained in details these two parables, it was said on the Shabbos Tovei and not the Rosh Hashanah. So what's the problem? So it's a negative, but it's still not on Rosh Hashanah. Aval became, but still it's a problem. But these parables are explaining the idea of belonging to Shofar Rosh Hashanah. So still, why would we on Rosh Hashanah give a moshel from negativity and things that are bad and the chesorin? So because of this big, huge surprise, the great surprise in bringing such misholim, so this itself proves to us the chol haprotim sheb'misholim elu, that all the details in these parables and b'pnimius yonim l'shavach, they are in their inner meaning, they're take praise. They're not really negative in the inner content. So we have to say that this is not negative, because otherwise, why would we give such a moshel for Tkiya Shofar? We'll understand it based on what is known, the Mashet Tkiya Shofar. Ubekoil Poshut Davke, this that the blowing of the shofar is with a simple sound. Ulifi di Rosh Hashanah, Ulaavrucha b'vris Hashem Elokecha. Because on Rosh Hashanah we pass through in the covenant with Hashem our God. Basically, on Rosh Hashanah we go through that covenant, which is a connection of the essence of a Yid with the essence of Hashem. And that's why it's a simple, not a sophisticated, not a complicated, it's a very simple simplicity, the essence of the Yid with the essence of Hashem. The Bris said, this covenant, whose kashrus atzmis, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, that's the essence connection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yid. Ha'ovrim biyachad bein absorim. A bris means you pass together between the pieces. The Eberster Kaviyach with the Yidden together are going through the pieces and form that bond, that bris. Liya is davar echad mamesh, to become one thing. Actually, on Rosh Hashanah, we become one with Hashem. Omekiv on these kashrus, he ha'is kashrus. The etzem anashom mimas, since this tie is tying the essence of the soul with the essence, with Hashem's essence, with Atzmos. Pshitas, the etzem anashom pshitas Atzmos. The simplicity of the essence of the soul with the simplicity of Atzmos, therefore, Gams Korin Habris Vahahis Kashrusu Ayideko Poshodavke. That's why also to remember that covenant, to die, that comes through a simple voice, not complicated, not a sophisticated, not a fancy voice, just a simple voice. She'eina melubosh, it's not dressed up in letters, just a voice. Because if it's dressed up, expresses itself in letters, even if it's expressions, oisius are formations, forming in thought, forming in speech. Any seer, any hamshach is oisius, it forms. But any time we talk about oisius, gam oisius achinailis, even the highest level of form, the most delicate, higher level, there's still a limit. There's a code in Habris Bahis Kashrus, the Pshitas Etzeman Shomo, in Pshitas Atzmos, and that tie of the simplicity, the essence, the highest essence of the soul with this simplicity of the Atzmos, the highest level of Atzmos, who alideko poshu davke, that comes through the simple voice. And that's why the moshel of Tkiyas Shofar hu mi ben melech sheshokach gam haloshon, he forgot the language. So on the surface we say forgot the language, he got so involved he doesn't even remember anything about his father. But the Rebbe teaches it, he forgot the language means it's not mitzuyer anymore in language. It's not oisius, it's only a kol poshu. The Shikha Lemalius say he forgot the language, meaning that forgetting is advantageous. Sometimes we forget something because we want to reach a higher level, as the Rebbe will bring the example for the Gemara about Reb Zera. The Mekivon shows haloshin hey magbilu, since letters, language are limiting l'chein. In order to come and to reach to the level of simplicity, You need to forget the language. So forgetting the language, not because a chisaron, lacking, because you don't even know, but you don't know the language because it's not formed, not shaped by the language. We're talking about the pshitas, the etzem hanasham. But we see this valderech Reb Zayda, forgetting on a higher level is similar to what the Gemara says of Reb Zayda. Tzom taniso. He fasted 100 fasted lishkoyach Talmud Babli, so that he would forget the Babylonian Talmud. He was moving to Eretz Yisrael, and he knew in the higher level of style of learning of Eretz Yisrael, the learning of Baba would interfere. So he fasted to forget it. And the reason was so that he should be able to learn the Yerushalmi Talmud, the Jerusalem Talmud. So it's not a forgetting as a disadvantage, as a lack, but on the contrary, it's forgetting for a higher purpose. Similar, there is a pillar that separates, that is in between the lower level of Gan Eden and the higher level of Gan Eden. When you go from the lower to the higher, you got to go through that amud. What does that amud do? That amud makes you forget what you experienced in the lower level of Gan Eden, so it doesn't interfere with the experience in the higher level of Gan Eden. What's the idea of that amud, that pillar, as explained in Torah? That is to forget and to negate the grasping, and the vision, what he saw, the experience with low level Gan Eden. You have to go through that amud in order to forget what the previous experience. The Oz Davke, when you forget, then specifically is he able to receive the revelation of the higher Gan Eden. Began Eden, just as in Gan Eden, get the Gan Eden that when the grasp that you have in what you are able to comprehend and grasp in the lower level of Gan Eden, that interferes to be able to grasp the Gan Eden. Similar to this, and it's actually even more. It's a foratory. When we want to reveal, when there's a revelation of the level of the pshitas, which is totally beyond hasoge, you can't have any interference, even any grasping, because we want to be able to get a level which is totally higher. It's even higher than Gan Eden Ha'elyon to coming from Gan Eden Atach. This is Pshitas, which is higher than Hasoga Legamri. Klol is Inyan Hasoga. Generally, any idea of grasp, even if it should be the greatest level of grasping, the valvel, the Gilui, Bechinas Pshitas, that interferes, that confuses, that interferes with the revelation of the level of Pshitas. You can't have hasoge. Grasping is a contradiction, doesn't allow to appreciate and get the pshitas. As explained in Ateres Reish Tam, Hamanda Omar mitzvos ein tzrichis kabone, explains the reason why the opinion holds that mitzvos don't need intention. Intention is a hasoge. The one opinion said you just got to do the mitzvah, not understand it. Hainishikiyum ha-mitzvahs tzorich is bekabolas oil, beloitam bekavon, without any reason and any intention. That's why it's mitzvahs ain't tzrichus kavona. Hello, Mendel. Mendel, was machst du? Good. Baruch Hashem. Are you back home? Amazing. How is it? Anybody else back home?
What?
Anybody else back home? Anybody else back home?
No, just me. How much time must go?
And are you going to be home? We're coming to visit you on Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Wednesday and Thursday. Might be in Atlanta with my mother.
Oh, you're going to Atlanta. We're going to babysit. Oh, that's why we're coming. We're coming to babysit.
Yeah,
Oh, you're going to be, anybody else going to be home?
I think so. Yeah.
I know the little kids, but Nochum or,
Is Dove gonna be home? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, we'll miss you. Maybe I'll get to see you a little bit before you leave or after you come back.
Let's go on to say hi.
I want to say hi to Chaimushka. Chaimushka, put on the FaceTime. Chaimushka.
Say hi.
Hi. Okay. All right, Mendel, thank you for calling. Have a great Shabbos. Enjoy your time home. And we'll be in touch. I'll see you maybe next week. I hope so. Thank you for the call. Thank you. Yeah, what's going on? I'm not using it right now, but I am here in shul. How soon do you need it?
No, we wanted to go to the pool. It's technically walk.
Hold on. You know what? I hate to interrupt you. I'm trying to finish a mimer here. It has been.
Finish up. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Let me see. Okay, let me finish over here.
Okay. Bye.
Hello. Oh, Rabbi Yankiv, how are you? Oh, sure.
The first one is, we have a question about Mara, and I thought I heard that the Rebbe does this. My wife did a Vajika and then after she saw something, she's not sure if it's clean or not. We wanted to know because otherwise it affects the date and the
Right. B'derech klal, I only do it for my immediate community. Is the other Rav in town not available, or is there a reason? I'll do it b'shas adchak because you have to understand my area of expertise. I don't have that many people. I got some shimush and I do it, but I learned, but I don't do it on a regular basis. So I don't like to, right?
also got the phone number of you elected or something. I can't remember who, and I figure
Yeah. Okay. All right. B'shas adchak, you can come to me. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a hefsek Torah. We're talking about a b'dika. What are we talking about? So you have what she took, and the cloth that she had later on. That's a Eid Haboduk. That's something that was clear before. So is there? So the shaila is because you don't have the previous one, or you have the shaila on this one.
I don't have the previous one.
But this one is not. The previous one had a shaila. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No.
One before is the one before that you don't find it. That's one. Also the morning one.
You have a.
The one we don't have, there's a question. The one we do have, there's a question. There was one from the night that we have a question on, but we don't have it, and then there's one more. It's the same question, right? And it's the same question, and that one we do have.
Okay, so it's okay. Okay, I just want to make sure there's something to look at. But you have the issue is that you have something today, which is the same that you had yesterday, and that will tell you about today and about yesterday.
One second. But it's not from yesterday. Today it's from Tuesday to Wednesday, right? No, sorry. The hefsek was on Tuesday. The hefsek was on Tuesday. The hefsek on Tuesday was good. Sorry, I didn't have all my facts.
Okay, one second. The hefsek Tuesday night. Shkia. Tuesday night, right? Shkia. Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah. So her first day was Tuesday night with the hefsek. The first day was Wednesday and Thursday, and today is the third day. And when is the bedika that she lost? That was the day after the first day of the first day, right? Okay. And then, okay. And now, which one do you have a question now? Right? Thursday morning. Let me ask you another thing. Did she do a bedika today? Did she do a bedika? Did you do a bedika Thursday night? That may be able to count as a hefsek just in case if you need to.
Last night, but the thing is, we're flying Wednesday night, so it's like either Tuesday, and we won't. There's nothing possible Wednesday night and Thursday night.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'm just trying to remember. So the first shaila is you have a bedika that you had a shaila and you don't have that aid. Okay. Yeah, but that the one they have a shaila you no longer have.
But the one thing we have undercloth.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a little bit more. I mean, it's not so much to see what you have now; it's really to know the halacha, what happens. And I have to look it up. So let me just say to you this: I'm not sure. My first yeah. She has the undergarment, or you say she had a cloth? Yeah, and they're clean. That will be so. That's
the question about what that is.
Oh, okay. So that may be okay, but if it's white garments, it's not a kesem. Then you could go into other issues over here. But I'd have to. What I would recommend for you. I hate to do this, but is a white garment because she's doing the Shiva Nikim. So it's a white garment. So if there's a kesem there, that would be an issue. Then it would be an issue. Even a kesem would be an issue. But especially that she's in the Shiva Nikim, so she should technically be making bedikas, not relying. So it's complicated. I would have to look it up. I couldn't answer you because these are a couple of questions there. My first recommendation to you is to go ahead and do another hefsek taira tonight for sure. So do that, just in case. Just in case. Okay, number one. Number two, I clarify what exactly the shilas are. I'm going to, if I rely on my memory, and I don't want to rely on my memory. If you had an aid that you checked and then you got lost, I don't think, and she's in the Shiva Nikiyim, and she had not yet, she's established the hefsek taira. The question what the chazok is. I mean, I have to look it up. I don't. I couldn't. I wish I could tell you I knew the answer right away, but I'm going to be lying to you. I don't. I don't. So what I'm going to do is let me try to look up a little bit, see if I have time. I'm busy with a few other things. Make a hefsek. You're not going to lose anything, anyways. Say it in a v'derech memonavshach. Make a hefsek taira just in case everything is no good. At least you'll be able to start from tonight. Okay, that's number one. And if there is lekula to take a look and to see exactly, then we can deal with that. So you can go l'mafreya. It's not going to be a problem. You're going to be able to do l'mafreya. But you could make a hefsek taira just in case. Okay, after Shabbos, let me I'm just a little talk. You said you had another question. You said.
Shabbos, maybe we can come over in the afternoon.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't believe. I didn't. Yes, absolutely. Please, please. It'll be the biggest honor. And I'll tell you something. I didn't see you last time you were here. You came more to shul. This time you didn't. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem.
My
No, no. What happened? Okay, listen. I'd be loving. Can you bring him tomorrow with you? Wow. I didn't. It's the first I hear about it. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it on Shabbos. See what we can do to help the situation. Yeah, I understand. Oh, yeah. I agree. Yeah, we'll try. We'll try. I'll try to reach out. Let's talk about it on Shabbos, and we'll see. I'll do what I can. Okay, Emir Hashem. Thank you. No problem. Sorry, I couldn't be of more help. Sadly, I couldn't be of more help. What? I'm sorry, I couldn't be of more help. Yeah. Yeah, me too, man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'll see you on tomorrow. I'll see you on Shabbos. Oh, thank you. Kol Tov. Bye.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Agam da l'shoynes shoymer shom. Ba'moshel v'gam ba'nimshel, although the languages used the moshel nimshel, yes, the Rebbe interpreted and the Rebbe made it a shvach, forgetting the loshen, taking medida agbola. It's all good and fine, but if you read the text of the Mamer in the languages that he talks in the moshel nimshel, kivishem bepashtus, as it's simple and simple meaning. They're not talking of the praise of Yidden. So how could we say that? But what he did say in the Maimer, the Moshul Zehu Ma'arav Hagoyin Nachosid Moreinu Rebbe Levi Yitzchok Zal Mibardichev. He did say clearly that the author of this Moshul is from the great genius, the Chosid Levi Yitzchok Bardichev. Yedu Am Meforsim B'Chol Ha'Olamois, and it's known and it's public in all worlds. The Harav Levi Yitzchok Zal Hoyoyev Yisrael, that Rabbi Yitzchok was a one who loved Yidden Umeil, it's Yosher, and he found good things to say. Al Kol Echad Echad Yisrael, for each and every one of the Jewish people. Umachrias Kol Echad Echad Yisrael L'Kavschus, he would decide and make every Yid on the side of merit, justice, righteousness, in a way of over the top, not starting from the bottom and then saying, but starts off with only the positive and only finding nice, good things. And therefore, when the Mamer says the Moshul Zeh, that this Moshul of Levi Yitzchok, move on bepashtu, so that's why it's understood. Simply the whole all languages used there are for the advantage. But this was his philosophy, this was his way as it pertains to all Yidden, only for the advantage. Pirush shel harav Levi Yitzchok Zal. As known, the interpretation of Rav Levi Yitzchok, blessed memory, in the verses that begins the book of Yeshayahu, seemingly there are descriptions of the Yidden which seemingly are negative, are derogatory for the Yidden, and yet and the Rabbi Tzaddik Medishev explained the Toirim Elu Moirim Al Shvachim Shel Yisrael, that they point to the praise of the Ukedemuchach Mizeh Shetoirim Elu Nemru B'Sefer Yeshaya. They are described in the book of Yeshaya. The Yeshaya who know Yeshua Yeshaya, for his name is the prophet of salvation. Yirmiyah is the prophet of Churban, and Yeshaya is the prophet of salvation. So if it's a Nevuah and the prophet Yeshaya, must be positive. Kishmo Yeshaya Milosh, and Yeshua has his name Yeshaya from the language of salvation. And not only are they praises El Shem Shmoch, but they're very great praises. There are no other description of praise similar to that level. So Yeshloimar Lapi Hayedua, and since the Rebbe Levi Yitzchok translates the negative into such positive, if he says it about others, so it's certainly about himself. When he says something, it's also definitely positive. The Rebbe brings down Lapi Hayedua. based on what we know, Mamer Adon Nifro, even though the Medaite, that a person, we collect from him, he gets punished, it says knowingly and loy Medaite, with his consent and without his consent. And the Pirush Loshna Mishnah Din V'Cheshbon, the same similar idea like Medaite, Shloi Medaite, is also the Lashon, the Mishnah Din V'Cheshbon. First judgment and then a cheshbon, but it would seem it has to be the other way. First there needs to be a cheshbon, and then you'll judge by the din will go according to the account. That's be the judgment. And we explain it that din means that first there's judgment. That we ask the person, what would you say in such a case? And he passes the judgment. And then we say a cheshbon, well, this is actually, you are the one that you just passed judgment on yourself. The same thing is the pshat in nifroi medaitoi, vishloi medaitoi. Consent means we ask you your opinion, and you say this is the punishment, but then you don't know that this is really you. So basically, what you say about somebody else is a boomerang. It comes back to you. So if Rebbe Yitzchak finds a favor for everybody else, it must mean what he says is also a favor for, in his own words, is a favor. When you say the ruling about another person, you're at the same time ruling on yourself. So the ruling of Rebbe as it pertains to descriptions that are in Yeshaya, that's also a ruling, as it's the descriptions of above in his teachings and in his parables, that it's not the negative, but it's actually on the highest level. So the fact that he says that Rebbe Yitzchak said this, it shouldn't be interpreted in a negative way, because it's really positive. And the Rebbe is going to explain now that we see this and also in other areas as well. We see this also in the Gemara. The Rebbe continues in Ois Yud Aleph that this is not something new, that some things that look like negative, a curse, are ended up like a blessing from the Gemara. Yud Aleph. This was already way back, and this is actually an action, a great story that took place. As related in the Gemara. So the Gemara relates over there in Moed Cotton, Testament base, that they send them to the rabbis to bless them, and he came back to his father. He told, they cursed me. And his father said, no, you didn't understand. And he showed him that they said languages that appeared externally to being curses. And really they were all blessings. So why did they have to bless him in such a way that looks like curses? Why could they not bless him with blessings that are openly blessings? Like the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek writes, the blessing in that way comes from the level of hidden sos. Brachas that come from the level of sosim are greater blessings. The brachas nailis yetzer. The brachas shemibchinas sosim and brachas nailis yetzer. The brachas that come from the level of sosim are greater. And also the way they come down below, we take the godly yetzer is with more force, mitashtur. Like we find. So the Gemara says, that the blessings will give birth to children, and you're not going to have to worry about them, as the Gemara and Rashi explain them there, the whole brachas. Hamshachas v'gilu koyach ha'in sof. This is drawing down the revelation of the Ein Sof b'dei Yisharim Yivarach in a generation of blessed generation, in a continuous, beautiful, straight generation that's blessed. But the Peter said, the Masha Baruch Loshen Kozeh, Uli Shfisha Bracha Boifen Zeh Himibchinasos. This interpretation that the reason they blessed them in a way that appeared to be a klolo is because that bracha comes from level of sosin. Mamer Adon Olam, the Tzaddik says, "Shehu Yitzur Nivra Kipashto." This is appears more correct in the simple meaning. The Lifnei said Tzemach Tzedek before in Muva Shom brings down Binyan Habrachas Shebit Parshas B'chol Koisai. Over there, when he discussed the blessings that in the portion of B'chol Koisai, Shehu Inyan Dehepech Habracha. Over there, it's negative. There's like the curses over there. So he says Elosh Koyi Ala Lumazeh, but he says that goes on the other side, so it doesn't go on a yid. That's one interpretation. So that the negative talks about the other side. But Ba'achach maybe Pirush Nali is that it brings a better Pirush. The Mezema Shebrachas Nebru Bloshen Kazeh. The reason the brachas are said is in this language, in order to sharpen, which means to figure out, because if it's clear, but that they said it in such a way that he needed to figure out from the what they told him that it's really a toy. The Gamlefi Pirush Zeh, even in this Pirush, Inyan Abrocha Shebelosh Zeh, Einei Bepashtus Ubegili. So that means that it's still not very simple, not openly. You need to figure out. Because in order to really grasp the truth, you need to sharpen the seichel. So this is steps. There's first that it goes on the other side, and then that it's sharpened to come to the. But then he says it's not a chesorn. And on this pirush that they're greater brachos, this is more fitting in the simple. The fact that these blessings are brachas ain't a pirush mechudot. It's not a sharpened, they figured out interpretation. Pirush apostle. Gam be'olam hapashat. Also, the word of pshat is that this is all these brachas from the level of sos. After Tzemach Tzedek opened the path. Especially taught this, then he gave us the Torah, which is a lesson. This becomes a lesson and gives power to each and every one. The Father shall to interpret and to reveal the blessing. Also in those languages, a matter which externally may appear as being negative. These blessings are very great to keep shooting, and they're simply, as the Tzemach Tzedek writes, in good which is visible and revealed. The power to bring down all inyanim, all matters in good that is visible and revealed. That's also all days of the year. All year to bring down all the good in especially when we crown the king with great joy. As brought before, that we do the Achtorah with great simcha. The simcha, simcha breaks through all boundaries. Yom Tov especially when it's Yom Tov that comes on Shabbos. Rosh Hashanah comes on Shabbos. The Kol Yetzur. All things drawn down that take place through the blowing of the shofar. They take place in Shabbos on its own. Shabbos, Nimshach Bechinas, Tainug HaPoshut Shabbos, extends the level of Tainug HaPoshut, Kimavur, Baruch HaBehemshach Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah, Shechali Shabbos L'Chavei Kedusha Mar Shabbos Mosei. So we get the level of Tainug HaPoshut on Shabbos. So therefore, for sure, we break through all the limits and we have all the blessings. Lamat Masarat Tvach Yud Beis. So Adon Olam BeTerem Kol Yetzur Nivra. The master of the world that was king before any creation was formed. The Rebbe explains in this Mamer, opening the circle of Word, as explained before at the beginning of the Mamer. The Adon Olam Big Matri Ein Sof. Adon Olam has the miracle of Ein Sof, no end. This refers to Malchus as it's in the Atzmos, blessed Atzmos. Rotzin hamuchlet ba'atzmusay, the deciding desire in the Atzmos of Hashem. It explains over there the Rotzin hamuchlet ba'atzmusay ein shaykh halos man klal, that in this Rotzin, which is deciding Atzmos, it doesn't fit to bring up Mayim Nukvim Yisarusa Latat at all. You can't reach there if you avoid them. Alpha became, but yeah. Alpha became calls all this, and also the Mamer Adon Olam the Olam Bo Canal Behemshach La Mamer Adon Olam Yom Tov Shel Rosh Hashanah Shachalis B'Shabbos Sheboy V'Vayri and Tkiyah Shofar B'Rosh Hashanah. So that he does explain the avodah of Rosh Hashanah, the idea of the blowing of the tkiyos of Rosh Hashanah. Shekoleles, that includes Kol Prote Avodah Zechol Hashanah, all the details of the services of all the years. Avodas Yisrael Poyeles Loirak Binyan Hazo, that the avodah of Yidden impacts not only building of Zeir Ampin, and also all the different levels. He said before, Tainug, he said Chochma Bina and Malchus, Kena Baruch of Luir, Akshi Bereres Gambo in Sof Shalifnei Had Simtzum, and it doesn't just touch the Sof Lifnei Had Simtzum, B'chinas Rotzin Hagolui, B'chinas Digil is Losim. Ein Sof Lifnei Had Simtzum, it's Rotzin Golui in Ein Sof. But Rotzin HaMuchlet is not Lizulosi at all. V'gam b'chinas Rotzin HaNelam. U'b'abchin Digil Atzmei. So the Rotzin HaGolui, which is Gilu Lizulosi, that's Ishtalshlos. And also b'chinas Rotzin HaNelam, b'abchin Digil Atzmei. This is all higher, not only Meireres Eirin Sof Shalifnei Had Simtzum. B'chinas Rotzin HaGolui, when there is already a Rotzin Golui in the Gilul Lose, Gilui for Ishtalshlos, and also Rotzin HaNelam, which is higher, B'chinas the Gilul Atzmei, not Lizulose, L'Seirim Zu. Besides that, she Yisrael Mishrosh Ba'atzmus, Yimamshichin Gam B'chinas Rotzin HaMuchlet Ba'atzmusei. Also, the level of Rotzin Ba'atzmusei, B'chinas Adon Olam B'Matri Ein Sof. Mainly, it comes down to this physical world. This world itself, physical matters. The noise of Aldin Rosh Hashanah, besides the judgment of Rosh Hashanah in the idea of bringing on godliness, Mishpat L'Elokei Yaakov, it's a judgment for Elokei Yaakov. So there's a din. In Ikar Adin Rosh Hashanah being Hashpos Gashmis, the main judgment is the physical Hashpos. And we merit in judgment in both matters. Heim Hashpos Ruchnis, Heim Hashpos Gashmis, both spiritual Hashpos and also physical. Children, life, and our sustenance in a comfortable way. Said before, the main Rosh Hashanah is to bring down physically. The impact should be in the land. The Hamshachas and drawing down these salvations, with all interpretation, even the poil should impact the Loshen Pula Moira Pula Gashmis Dafkin. The language of Pula points to a physical, should impact physically. It's even more than Loshen of doing. Was that good for poil Yeshua is Bekerev Oretz. Kerev Oretz means amongst in the bottom of the land, the lowest level. Pashtush literally means each one of the Yidden Nichtav and Echtem B'Sifrim Shal Tzadikim Gemurim is signed and sealed in the book of complete tzaddikim. Because all of you people are tzaddikim. So every Yid gets in the book of tzaddikim. Tzaddikim Gemurim. Call them tzaddikim. Tzaddikim Gemurim. Sifr tzaddikim. Immediately l'chaim l'gula. We don't have to wait for Yom Kippur. It's immediately for l'chaim l'gula, right by Rosh Hashanah. Each and every one of the Yidden goes out from exile to the true and complete Geula. Like the Haftarah Rosh Hashanah says, Kol Godel Yeshuva Heina, a great community will return here. That includes every one of the Yidden Kivur Baruch of Haftarah, the Rosh Hashanah. That each and every Yid will come back with Simcha Gedoyla, with great joy. Canal, as we said before, Shachtoras HaMelech, Simcha Gedoyla, crowning the king is with great joy. Simchas Olam, eternal joy on their head. Geula Mitzvah Shleimo, with the complete and true redemption of the Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Korav Mamish, through Mashiach Tzidkeinu very soon.